Well, welcome back everyone. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you for joining. If you watched the last video, and I'll try to remember to put a link in the description to that, you've seen where I went out in the woods and got a very large load of oak firewood right here. This tree had blown down a couple years ago in a hurricane, and I was afraid that this lumber was no good, would be completely rotten. I was pleasantly surprised to find when I cut into it, it's still nice and solid. And that's the main reason I'm building a trail system through the woods right now. So if you look across our channel, you see that I've just started that project, and probably the next video after this will be me going back out there and cut the trail through the woods. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you click subscribe and check those videos out. You can see a wood rack that I just built a little while back. That's also another video on the channel. And even for Florida standards, it's been pretty cool this November. We just had our third light frost this morning. I can't ever remember that happening. So we did have this rack over here that was mostly full. We've already burnt through it this week alone and have started into this rack. This is some cherry, storm damaged cherry that I cut earlier this year that I'm going to try to leave and let season for next winter and fall. But this wood right here is very well seasoned. Like I said, it's borderline almost rotten on the edges, but the inside's still very solid. So this is something I'll go ahead and start burning now. And this is a tremendous amount of wood. I just serviced the Tractor Supply 25-ton log splitter. I've done run a few cycles of gas through it. Just changed my brake-in oil. So this is going to kind of be another video about that. It's going to have its work cut out for it. Some of these oak rounds are very, very large. So I should get quite a bit of firewood out of this, as well as really exercise that machine and kind of give some further thought and opinion on it. Thus far, it's been excellent to me. Let's fire it up and get to split. Well, y'all, I am done. I've been out here, I forgot to check the time, but probably at least a couple hours splitting. I've let this cool off just a couple times. You know, ran, got something to drink, checked a couple things around the property, but for the most part, probably 2+ hours. I've been solid at splitting. But I am pleased with what I've got here. Filled this entire rack up, so that's great. That's a lot of wood there. Got this one almost halfway filled. And this might look a bit jumbled and odd here, but this wood was odd sizes or borderline almost rotten, but it's got some solid stuff in it. So this is what I'm going to burn over the next few days in our fire pit. That's why I've left it on the ground. Otherwise, if all that tree had been solid, I would have easily filled up 2 racks with it. And you can see what I've done here. The tree was surprisingly way more solid than I was expecting. I like to smoke with oak. That's a pretty common wood to smoke with down here. It's used in a lot of barbecue joints. So I've got a side smoke box on my smoker, and I like to split it about this size, some a little bigger, some a little smaller. And this is what I like to cook with. So I went ahead and split me a nice pile there. That wood is still actually very wet and damp. So I'm surprised, as long as that tree's been on the ground out there, it still has a wet, damp, solid wood in the middle. So like I said, this is all solid. That's solid. It's starting to dry out some. This is going to be fine for the fire pit over the next few nights. This is all some rotten outside edges from the other video that I done. That was an old sweet gum that I cut out of the woods, and that's just a little too rotten to burn, so I'll dispose of it. So I am pleased, pleased. Just a quick little update on the log splitter. You know, watch my other video. That was kind of my initial review. Don't go over a whole lot of specs. There's no point. Y'all can go get all that offline. But I've done run several tanks of gas through this. And speaking of the gas, again, I've been out here easily a couple of hours. You've seen what all I showed in the beginning of the video, what all I've split here. I haven't filled this tank up once. I haven't checked to see how low it is, but it's still running just fine. This thing is excellent on fuel. It starts in 2 to 3 pulls every single time. And if you watch my other review, I mentioned that the engine would stutter every now and then. That is completely gone now. I guess that was just part of the initial break-in, running it. It doesn't stutter at all anymore. Runs great. So really happy with the log splitter. You know, it goes vertical or horizontal. Thank goodness for that, because some of these larger pieces were just way too heavy to lift. So I've been splitting in that vertical position majority of my life, so I've done got comfortable with that. That's why I'm probably going to leave this big round of wood here. That's just going to be my stool. If I had just a bunch of small pieces, I would leave it in the horizontal position and split. That's probably a little easier on your back. But like I said, you can look all the specs up online. This is constantly going to be getting used in my videos. So if you want to follow the channel and just kind of see how well it's working for me, I'm going to split a lot more wood with it. I've already filled up several of these racks and burnt some down. So while it doesn't have a lot of use on it, it does have several uses. And if it does give me any problem, I will be sure to bring that up in the videos. So with that said, got a lot more videos coming. We're going to finish cutting that trail through the woods, try to find some more firewood out there. I've got a couple more trees down. I'm going to see if I can salvage some wood out of them like I did this one. And I'll have another video out for y'all shortly. Thanks for watching.